Hello, welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylla and today I ask you, first perfection, then total inertia. Is this your pattern? Many of us have this pattern we fall into when we want to make a change in our lives, such as eating better, or exercising, or prioritizing our passion even. And the pattern looks as follows. We have days, weeks, even months of complete perfection where we just put it all into practice perfectly and feel so good about ourselves. And this is followed by total inertia, falling off the wagon, binge watching Netflix and undoing all the good work that we did before. Your mission today is to learn why you keep falling into this pattern and how to prevent it from ever happening again. Task number 1 is why perfection isn't perfect. I had a client who said to me, I was doing so well. I was running every morning. I felt fantastic. I had tons of energy. I actually felt really good for doing this. So why did I sabotage myself and stop doing it? I don't understand it. The reasons why we do this, why we fall into these patterns, even with something that is so obviously doing us good and that we feel great with. The reasons are manifold, but one of the reasons one thing that isn't a reason is that you lack willpower or aren't intelligent enough. So task 1A, so to speak, is to stop beating yourself up, let yourself off the hook. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with your willpower or with your attitude or your intelligence or anything. What it does have to do with is psychological patterns. It's usually patterns that we've learned long ago in our childhood, and as such, because they're so old, they're the oldest patterns that we have because we learned them so early. They're also the hardest to uproot. And these could be voices, like voices that we've internalized from our parents, a teacher, and they make us really conflicted because now we're adults and that doesn't really fit, but we've internalized it, so we no longer recognize this originally came from somebody else. We think it comes from us. These conflicting voices tell us to be good. So we like being good. We like doing something well because that's acknowledgement and acceptance, and we like that. But at the same time, we want to rebel against it because we're feeling like, why should I should do this. I ought to do this. I'm my own person. I'm an adult. I make my own decisions. So no, I'll do what I want. And even if that is just binging Netflix, right? If all this sounds a little silly to you, then please consider that there are highly intelligent, accomplished people that fall off the wagon when it comes to drug abuse, alcoholism, long after they were clean. This keeps happening to them. It's a very, very common pattern. So this is not silly. This is very common and human, and this is a real issue. To understand this is your task number 1. Task number 2 is break the pattern of perfection, then inertia. It's time to turn this around, right? And in order to do this, you need to let go of both the complete perfection, doing everything right, as well as the total inertia. You can't just let go of the one. It has to be both. There are several components to this, and I've written them down. I'm going to read them out to you. The first is let go of this seductive simplicity of everything will change right now. It's very seductive because this is what sells courses on the internet, right? Turn everything around, turn your life around. I'll be perfect from tomorrow. I'll do my morning routine, I'll jog, I'll eat well, I'll go to bed on time, and all these things. It's because it makes us feel so good. It gives us adrenaline, it gives us endorphins. It's fantastic. The problem is that it doesn't last. This is what triggers this cycle, this vicious cycle. And if you want to break out of this, you need to let go of this. And what you do instead is baby steps. You take really small incremental steps. You implement one thing now, like a healthy breakfast. And 2 or 4 weeks later, you implement something else. And 2 or 4 weeks later, you implement another thing. This is how you create lasting change, by the way. This is the most important of the points that I'm reading out here. That's why it's the first point. And it's also the point that most people don't want to do and don't do, and that's why they keep failing over and over. Don't skip this. Baby steps. The second point is simplify the rest of your life. Quit things. Just unload your calendar. Quit memberships, clubs and societies. Anything, any social obligation, anything that doesn't really speak to you. Let go of this. Make room in your schedule. You don't have to be busy every minute of every day. In fact, it's counterproductive. Next point, take plenty of time for yourself, even for things like binge watching Netflix. Because if you allow yourself regularly to do this, then you don't have to secretly and stealthily go there and then just do it for 2 weeks and do nothing else in those days. So take time just for yourself. And this is separate from taking time, that's the next point, take time for self-care. So this is separate. Time for just for yourself, just downtime. And self-care is time where you do something good for yourself. You go for a massage, or you go for a walk in the woods, or you do something that does you good and nourishes your soul. And the last thing is, obviously, because it's coming from me, take time for your passion, to do what lights you up. This raises your overall vibration, it gives you joy, and it makes you much more likely to stick with whatever it is that you're doing. Create an overall balanced life. This is what all this is about. And then your changes, your incremental small baby step changes, are going to stick, and you will transform your entire life much more than if you overthrow everything now, and then 3 months later you're back to the way it was before. Task number 3 is, as usual, let me know. Hit the reply button on the email that you got the link to this video with, and tell me what you think of this. What are your experiences? Have you experienced this cycle of perfection and inertia? Or what do you think of it? Let me know, and I reply to every email, I promise. If you didn't get the link to the video in an email, that means you're not part of the Wild Spirits community yet, and you must join us. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in a little form there. You'll get 1 email per week. It's 100% spam free. You'll get additional information and articles and recommendations of books and of other resources, and sometimes you get exclusive offers that are only for my subscribers that nobody else ever gets to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up, or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching, that'll get you to the website as well. Thank you for watching.